Have you ever reached a point where you realize you can't rely on anyone, not even family? It is one of the hardest, most profound truths we face as we age. The emotional and practical support we once expected from family can start to shift, shrink, or even disappear entirely. Kids get busy with their own lives, siblings may face their own health challenges, friends move, fall ill, or tragically pass on. And suddenly you are left in a quiet moment wondering, who's truly there for me? Now that question can hit like a brick wall if you are not prepared for it. But here is the good news. You can be ready. In fact, you can build a life at 70, 80, or even 90 where you feel strong, grounded, and unshaken, no matter who stays or goes. This video is not about being bitter or cynical. It is about being profoundly wise and strategically proactive. Because real support, the kind you can genuinely count on in the middle of the night, on a lonely afternoon, or during an unexpected crisis, often does not come from the traditional sources we expect. It comes from 5 other powerful, often overlooked sources that most people ignore until it is too late. These 5 things are the real backbone of a peaceful, independent life in your later years. They are the quiet, unwavering forms of support that do not disappoint, do not grow distant, and do not leave you feeling like a burden. Stick with me, because what I am about to share may just fundamentally change the way you think about aging and how incredibly powerful and self-sufficient you truly are. Now let us get started on building your unshakable foundation. 5. Unshakable pillars of support you can build for your later years. Pillar 1. Physical mobility, your unspoken freedom. When you're in your 70s and beyond, the ability to move freely, independently, and without constant assistance is not just about physical health. It is about freedom. It is about dignity, and in many ways, it is the single most important, self-reliant form of support you can cultivate that does not depend on anyone else. Physical mobility means you can get out of bed without struggling for help. It means you can confidently cook yourself a warm, nourishing meal, reach up to your cabinet for the good dishes, or walk out your front door to breathe in the fresh morning air without waiting for someone to assist you. That is power. That is profound control over your daily life. And most importantly, that is a kind of emotional and psychological support that no one talks about, because it intrinsically gives you confidence and dramatically reduces the pervasive fear of helplessness. When you can move your own body, you worry less about being a burden to others. Now let us be honest. Staying mobile after 70 does not mean running marathons or doing acrobatic backflips. It means consistently protecting your joints, maintaining your balance, and keeping your muscles strong enough to trust your own legs. Small, consistent habits like a gentle stretching routine every morning, walking for 15-20 minutes a day, or using light resistance bands to maintain muscle tone can make all the difference. And here is the crucial part. It is never too late to start. Many people mistakenly think the decline in mobility is an inevitable, irreversible consequence of aging. It is not. In fact, the more you gently move and engage your body, the more your body adapts and fights to keep moving. Your body listens to your consistent actions far more than it listens to your chronological age. Psychologically, preserving physical mobility helps combat a deep, often unspoken fear that many older adults carry, the fear of helplessness and total dependence. When your body becomes physically dependent, your mind often begins to shrink in tandem. You start to second-guess yourself. You stop planning outings. You avoid trips. You decline invitations, not because you are uninterested, but because you secretly fear not being able to manage the physical demands. That is not aging, that is shrinking your world, and you absolutely do not have to live that way. Take Harold, a spirited 78-year-old man I met at a park in Florida. He walks laps every morning with a cane, rain or shine, his determination palpable. I asked him once why he is so committed to this daily ritual. He looked at me with clear eyes and said, "Because the moment I stop walking is the moment I start waiting for someone to help me, and I do not want to wait. I want to live." His mobility is not perfect, but it is his, and it gives him immense peace of mind. He still drives himself to the grocery store, still visits friends on Sundays, and still climbs the 3 steps to his front porch with pride. Not because someone built a ramp for him, but because he consistently refused to stop moving. The reality is, when you invest in your body, even a little bit, it gives you back a level of freedom and self-reliance most people do not fully appreciate until it is tragically gone. Family may not always be there to take you to every appointment or help you get up from an unexpected fall, but if your legs are strong, your core is stable, and your balance is steady, you can significantly delay those needs. You can maintain your independence far longer than most expect. And that is the kind of self-support that builds deep, enduring confidence, not just physically, but profoundly, emotionally. So if you are feeling stiff or weak these days, that is perfectly okay. Do not judge yourself, but commit to starting right where you are. Move a little more today than you did yesterday. Stretch gently while you wait for your coffee to brew. Take 1 extra lap down the hallway, because every small, consistent effort builds something big, your own reliable, unshakable physical foundation. A foundation that walks beside you every step of the way, no matter who else shows up. Pillar number 2, financial simplicity, your shield against worry. When you reach your 70s and beyond, true peace of mind often does not come from how much money you have amassed in the bank. Instead, it comes from a profound sense of clarity, knowing precisely what you need, what you can comfortably manage, and how to live intentionally within your means, without debilitating fear or lingering shame. Financial simplicity is one of the strongest, most resilient supports you can truly rely on. And it is one of the very few pillars you can fully control without needing anyone else's intervention or assistance. You see, complicated finances become emotional baggage. Juggling multiple confusing accounts, desperately trying to track every recurring subscription, or feeling constantly overwhelmed by credit card statements, it is not just stressful. It relentlessly eats away at your fundamental sense of stability. And when you are older, stability is not just about comfort, it is, in many ways, about survival. Because no matter how much your family loves you, they cannot magically erase financial chaos. But a clear, simple, and manageable financial plan can carry you through the roughest patches like a sturdy, reliable cane for your soul. And here is the crucial thing most people miss. Simplifying your money does not mean giving up control. On the contrary, it means gaining profound control. It allows you to cultivate a modest lifestyle that truly fits you, not someone else's expectations or societal pressures. It grants you the freedom to confidently buy what you genuinely need without second-guessing every single dollar. It is like clearing out a deeply cluttered closet. Once things are meticulously in order, your brain can finally rest, unburdened by financial anxiety. Psychologically, embracing financial simplicity fundamentally removes one of the biggest sources of late-life anxiety: uncertainty. Many older adults lie awake at night, their minds racing with questions like, "Will I outlive my savings?" Or "What if I cannot afford a caregiver someday?" And these gnawing questions haunt them more profoundly than any physical pain. But when you precisely know where your money goes, when your spending is intentional and aligned with your values, and when your basic needs are covered without constant stretching, you sleep better, you walk taller, you feel steadier, you possess a quiet inner peace. Let me share something about my neighbor Lorraine, a resilient 74-year-old widow who once worked as a respected librarian. After her husband passed away, she sat down with a trusted financial counselor and made a courageous decision to radically downsize. This meant moving to a smaller home, drastically reducing her monthly bills, consolidating to just one credit card, and meticulously cancelling every subscription she did not actively use. She told me, her eyes shining with relief, "I used to be absolutely terrified to check the mail. Now I open every envelope with a clear head and a calm heart." She even started a small savings jar labeled Freedom Fund, putting in just $10 here and there. But for her, it is a powerful daily reminder that she is firmly in charge of her money, not the other way around. What Lorraine did was not magic. It was a conscious, deliberate choice, a quiet yet incredibly powerful decision to simplify her financial life so she could profoundly focus on living, not just surviving. And here is the most empowering part. When your finances are simple and streamlined, you intrinsically need fewer people to manage them. You do not have to nervously call your son every time you have a billing question. You do not have to anxiously wait for a family member to explain the fine print of a statement. You can handle it. You are the captain of your own financial ship. So if you feel overwhelmed by your money right now, take a deep breath. You are not alone, and you do not need to be rich to find this peace. You just need to be clear and intentional. Cancel what you do not genuinely use. Combine what you can. Write down what comes in and what consistently goes out. Make it so profoundly simple you could explain it to a friend over a peaceful cup of coffee. Because in the end, true peace is not in the numbers. It is in the knowing. Pillar number 3, a consistent health routine, your daily act of self-respect. At 70 and beyond, your strongest, most reliable support isn't always your children, your neighbors, or even your doctor. It is your daily health routine. I am not talking about trendy, high-intensity workouts or expensive exotic supplements. I mean the small, steady, non-negotiable actions that you repeat every single day to keep your body and mind in working order. This is the kind of profound self-reliance that builds true, lasting independence. Because when your body feels steady, strong, and capable, so does your spirit. You see, many people wait until something goes dramatically wrong before they start paying serious attention to their health. But that is like frantically patching a leaky roof during a torrential thunderstorm. It is purely reactive, and it inevitably keeps you in a perpetual state of crisis management. A consistent health routine flips that script entirely. It puts you firmly in charge of your well-being. When you commit to walking every morning, drinking your water, gently stretching your legs, taking your prescribed medications on time, and consciously eating what truly fuels you, not just what momentarily fills you, you are actively creating a powerful rhythm of self-respect. And that rhythm reliably carries you forward, even on the days when motivation feels low and your body feels heavy. There is a hidden, profound power in daily routine, especially in later years. Psychologically, well-established routines dramatically reduce anxiety because they eliminate decision fatigue. You do not have to agonizingly ask yourself, "Should I do this today?" You just do it. That predictability creates a deep sense of internal stability, which in turn consistently leads to increased confidence. And confidence is precisely what keeps you from feeling like a burden on others. It empowers you to stand tall and confidently say, "I am still capable, I am still in motion, and I still take care of myself." Let me tell you about Frank, an 81-year-old former electrician I know. Every morning at precisely 6:10 a.m., he makes a comforting cup of green tea, does 15 minutes of gentle chair stretches, takes his morning medications, and then goes for a brisk 30-minute walk around his block. Rain or shine, he is out there. He told me once, his eyes full of conviction, "It is not just about exercise. It is about telling myself every single morning that I still matter, that I am still committed to me." That hit me deeply, because Frank's routine is not just about physical fitness. It is about identity, about staying profoundly connected to the part of himself that absolutely refuses to quit just because the years are adding up. And here is something you might not realize. When you have a consistent health routine, you actually need less help from others, not more. You are less likely to forget your pills, less likely to experience falls, and less likely to feel lost or disoriented in the day. It is like building a sturdy, well-worn path in a foggy forest. Even when things feel unclear, your feet intuitively know where to go because they have walked that path every single day. That is real, reliable support, and it does not depend on anyone but you. Of course, some days are inevitably harder than others. Your joints might ache more, your energy might dip unexpectedly, or the weather might keep you inside. That is perfectly okay. The routine can be flexible and adaptable. What truly matters is not perfection, but consistency. A gentle walk around the house, a few deep, mindful breaths by the window, consistently drinking a full glass of water before bed. These are not monumental tasks, but together they become a resilient net that catches you, holds you up, and keeps you moving forward with grace. So if you are feeling stuck or you have let your routine slide lately, start small. Pick one habit, one small action. Because every single time you show up for yourself, you are powerfully proving that you are your own best caregiver. And that is a kind of support no one can ever take away from you. Pillar number 4, emotional resilience, your inner fortress. If there is one form of support that grows exponentially more valuable with age, it is emotional resilience. Not money, not even perfect physical health. Because when your emotions are strong, stable, and well-managed, you can weather just about anything life throws at you. Profound loneliness, deep grief, unexpected setbacks, and yes, even the inevitable disappointments that sometimes come from family. Emotional resilience is what allows you to sit in quiet solitude without feeling utterly empty, and to face hardship without feeling completely destroyed. At 70, life has likely already thrown you a handful of significant losses, perhaps even more: a beloved spouse passing, children drifting away to pursue their own lives, health unexpectedly declining. The crucial mistake many people make is thinking that emotional strength means never feeling sad or never experiencing pain. That is not what it means at all. Emotional resilience is about feeling deeply, authentically, and profoundly, but not being drowned by those feelings. It is about letting the sorrow, the anger, or the frustration pass through you, rather than allowing it to take deep root and consume you. This kind of inner strength does not come from pretending everything is fine. It comes from the courageous act of telling yourself, "This hurts, but I can handle it. I will get through this." And the powerful truth is, every single time you do that, every single time you sit with discomfort or pain without running from it, you become less afraid of what the future might bring. That is incredibly powerful. That is profoundly liberating. You are not leaning on others to carry your sorrow. You are learning how to hold it yourself without it fundamentally breaking you. Let me share a story. There is a woman named Eileen, 77, who lost her husband 5 years ago and now lives entirely on her own. I asked her once, "What truly gets you through the hard days?" She paused, then said, "I light a candle every night, not because I am religious, but because it reminds me I am still here. I cry some nights, I laugh others, but I always tell myself, you made it through today." That small, consistent ritual is her way of honoring her pain without allowing it to swallow her. That is pure resilience. You see, emotional resilience is not just about surviving the truly big tragedies. It is also about skillfully managing the smaller, everyday disappointments and shifts. When your son does not call as often as you would like, when a cherished friend moves far away, when you realize you simply cannot do what you used to physically, if you crumble every time something shifts, life becomes too painful and unpredictable to genuinely enjoy. But when you possess strong emotional resilience, you gain immense freedom. You are not at the mercy of other people's choices or the world's constant changes. You are steady, grounded, and adaptable because you consciously choose how to respond to life's inevitable challenges. Psychologically, consistently practicing emotional resilience actually rewires your brain. It helps your racing thoughts slow down. It teaches your nervous system not to overreact to perceived threats. It builds an unwavering confidence that you can face uncertainty and still fundamentally be okay. And in older age, when so much is inherently uncertain, that is one of the most valuable, enduring gifts you can ever give yourself. Now, if you are wondering how to actively build emotional resilience, it starts with conscious awareness and self-compassion. Talk to yourself with kindness and understanding, just as you would a dear friend. Allow your feelings to be real and valid, but do not let them run wild and unchecked. Find small, grounding routines that bring you comfort and stability, like writing in a personal journal, taking a mindful walk in nature, or simply putting on music you love and allowing yourself to feel. And most importantly, remind yourself often that you have survived every hard thing life has thrown at you up to this point. That is not luck. That is undeniable strength. So yes, family dynamics may fade, physical health may falter, but if your emotional core is strong and well-nurtured, you will still stand clear-eyed, steady-hearted, and rooted in the quiet, profound knowledge that you are enough, all by yourself. Pillar number 5, a personal code of values, your unshakable North Star. There is something profoundly powerful and deeply anchoring about having your own clear, unwavering set of values, especially after the age of 70. When the world around you relentlessly shifts, when people you care about disappoint you, and when the future feels uncertain, your personal code of values becomes your unshakable compass. It tells you, with absolute clarity, who you are, what truly matters to you, and precisely how you want to live, no matter what anyone else does or says. Too many seniors, I have observed, lose their sense of direction and purpose because they have spent a lifetime primarily living by others' expectations. They were the good parent, the faithful worker, the supportive spouse. But once those defining roles fade or change, they are often left wondering, what now? Who am I truly? That is precisely where a strong, self-defined personal code steps in. It declares, this is who I am at my core, and this is how I live, regardless of who's watching or whether I receive external validation. A strong personal code might include values like uncompromising honesty, genuine kindness, deep personal responsibility, intentional simplicity, or unwavering self-respect. These are not flashy values. They are not designed to be impressive to anyone but you. And that, profoundly, is the entire point. When you genuinely live by your own deeply held values, you stop needing external approval. You stop chasing validation from others. You stop being rattled or emotionally destabilized when someone disagrees with you or when circumstances are not ideal, because your inner peace and stability do not depend on them. Let me tell you about Howard, a man I met in his early 80s who exuded a remarkable sense of inner calm. He once told me, I have 5 simple rules for living. I speak the truth always. I don't waste food. I always return a borrowed thing better than I received it. I forgive fast. And I sleep with a clear conscience. That's it. And every single day, Howard lives by that unwavering code. He is not rich. He does not have a large, active family, but he walks around with a kind of quiet, dignified presence that is incredibly rare and inspiring. Why? Because he knows, without a shadow of a doubt, who he is. His personal code anchors him. Psychologically, having a clearly defined personal code helps to dramatically reduce regret. It makes your daily choices simpler and more aligned. You do not lie awake at night wondering, did I do the right thing? Because you already know what the right thing is for you according to your internal compass. It also builds immense internal stability. When life inevitably throws you a curveball, and it will, you are far less likely to panic or be thrown off balance. Instead, your first thought will be, what do my core values say about this situation? And that becomes your clear, unwavering guide. In fact, studies in elder psychology consistently show that seniors who live by a consistent set of values report significantly higher life satisfaction, lower anxiety levels, and even better cognitive health. Why? Because clarity brings profound calm. When your life has a consistent through line, a thread of integrity woven through every choice, it keeps you grounded and purposeful. But here is what is even more important. Your values are profoundly yours. No one else needs to agree with them. You do not have to explain them or defend them to anyone. You just have to live them authentically. That is what makes them so incredibly powerful. Whether your code includes waking up early to greet the sun, refusing to gossip, being generous even when you have little, or staying endlessly curious about the world, whatever values genuinely speak to your soul, hold on to them fiercely, let them carry you. Because when you can look in the mirror at 75 or 85 or 95 and honestly say, I lived according to what I truly believe, that is real success. That is real self-respect. And no one, not your children, not society, not even the passage of time, can ever take that away from you. It is the kind of support that never fades because it lives vibrantly inside you. And in the end, that is what this journey of aging is ultimately about. Not being remembered by everyone else, but being profoundly at peace with yourself. A personal code gives you that peace. It is not loud, it does not boast, but it holds you up quietly, faithfully, and powerfully when everything else around you inevitably changes. You know, as we age, we often find ourselves reflecting deeply on who really stands beside us when the lights are low and the days grow quiet. And it is not always who we initially thought. Family, friends, even our own bodies can become less dependable with time. But that does not mean we are left with nothing. In fact, the older we get, the more we realize that some of the strongest, most reliable supports in our lives were never outside of us at all. They were within us, waiting patiently for us to acknowledge and lean on them. Perhaps it is the quiet, comforting strength of daily routines, the predictable rhythm that tells your mind and body you are safe, you are grounded, you are cared for. Or perhaps it is the profound joy of small personal pursuits, things that make the hours feel meaningful, purposeful, and enriching, even when no one else is around. These are not just mere hobbies. They are vital lifelines to our own identity, purpose, and inner contentment. Then there is diligent physical self-maintenance. Something as seemingly simple as keeping your legs strong or ensuring your meals are balanced can spell the crucial difference between cherished independence and unwanted dependence. It is a truth we do not always want to hear, but it is one that grants us the most profound control over how we age. Taking care of yourself is not vanity. It is profound wisdom and self-love. We also talked about cultivating a sharp, engaged mind, staying curious, staying intellectually active, staying alive in the vibrant world of ideas and constant change. When your brain keeps growing and learning, so does your sense of relevance, adaptability, and resilience. You do not fade away, you adapt, you evolve, you surprise even yourself with your capacity. And perhaps most quietly powerful of all, we explored the essential act of having a personal code, a deeply held set of values that define who you are at your core, no matter who walks in or out of your life. That is your unshakable compass. That is your impenetrable armor. That is what allows you to age with profound dignity and live with enduring peace. So what does all of this mean for you? It means that your most reliable support system after 70 might not be a person at all, but a mindset, a deliberate way of living rooted in self-nurturing habits, empowering beliefs, and consistent practices that keep you steady and strong, no matter what the world around you does. It is about becoming your own unshakable foundation. Because when you can stand strong alone, you paradoxically never truly feel alone. That kind of inner strength is not just comforting, it is profoundly liberating. Now here is a gentle challenge for you. Take a quiet moment, perhaps after this video ends, and genuinely ask yourself, which of these 5 pillars of support do I already have firmly in place? And which one do I want to actively build up and strengthen, starting today? Do not be afraid to start small. Big, life-changing transformations often begin with one quiet, determined decision made in the privacy of your own heart. Thank you for joining us today. We would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to thoughtfully use it in your life. Your thoughts are incredibly important to us, so please do not hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement to continue. If you found this video valuable and truly helpful, please like it, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone you care about who might also benefit from this message. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.